Hi, I'm John with Think With Us. So yesterday I shared that I had passed the FAA Part 107 exam. It had been just over a week from the time that I decided I wanted to get the certification to studying, scheduling my exam, and actually taking the test. So I want to share with you some of the resources that I used to study and get ready for the knowledge test. And then the different areas on the test that I found to be not so intuitive. Um, so there's a guide online that the FAA has that goes through all of the items that will be on the test. So definitely read through those. My primary resources were YouTube videos, and then also just reading the different handbooks and guides that the FAA has. So I went through the one for the small UAS exam, and then also I went through, just skimmed through and became familiar with all of the general pilot information. And big thing that was stressed in a lot of the videos was sectional charts. Those are the large diagrams, maps of the country that show all the airports, restricted flight areas, information about the airports, the radio frequencies, things of that nature. You also need to know latitude, longitude. So the areas of the test, aside from just aeronautical knowledge, which you should be able to get from the study guides that the FAA has. The parts where you actually need to practice that I found were sectional chart analysis, and then becoming fluent and able to read and decode METAR and TAF weather reports. So there were 4 YouTubers that I found to be the most helpful in my studying. The first was Tony Northrup. He has a fantastic page on what is on the test, and an hour and I think 40-minute video that goes over all of the stuff. That was the first video that I watched, and it was a very good summary of everything that you can expect to be on the test, and I found to be quite true and accurate. And he also has on his own webpage a very long checklist of items and a study sheet that you can go through. I took all that data and I reformatted it and have it on a Google Doc. I'll share the links down in the description. So he distilled a lot of the stuff that's in the FAA guides down to, I was able to fit it onto 5 sheets of paper, and I found it to be a fantastic way to just have something to look at and to read and see, just kind of review. So in the last 2 days before I took the test, I had the printout that I had made and was just reading it at any spare moment, in between, in the morning and the evening, whenever I had a few spare seconds to just kind of go through some of the definitions and things that you might need to know. And then the other 3 YouTubers that I watched, primarily for airspace descriptions. You'll need to know Class B, C, D, and E airspaces, and then also how to read sectional charts. Those 3 YouTube channels were Fly8MA, Remote Pilot 101, and MzeroA Flight Training. I'll have links to all 4 of those channels and in the description down below. So I went through a very good portion of their videos that were focused on those topics. The most difficult and counterintuitive one for me was sectional charts. So being able to read and decode the information that's included in the charts. A lot of the test questions that I found on my exam were related to CTAF frequencies and things of that nature that you will have to pull out of a sectional chart. Also, the different restricted areas. All 3 of those channels have videos on decoding sectional charts, and I found each of their takes on it to be very good and kind of the sum of all the information is what helped me pass my exam. So in my study guide, I also went through and took out the METAR and TAF sections from the supplement that they will give you when you take the exam. They give you a booklet that has portions of the sectional charts, METAR, TAF. It has the loading rates for an airplane and a bank to turn, things of that nature. So all the information that you might need to reference during the exam, they provide in a booklet, and that booklet's freely available online. That was one of the things that I did, was I downloaded the booklet, and I went through it and familiarized myself with the information within the booklet, so that when I was at the exam, I would just kind of know what was there. And the two sections that I found to be critical in actually knowing, so I didn't have to question or kind of figure out the day of the exam, were the METAR and TAF sheets. So I believe there were 4 METAR reports and 2 TAF reports. So those are just weather data, and you can download the supplement right now, and you can see and decode those forecasts before you go into the exam, so you can know exactly what it will be, so you're not sitting in the exam trying to figure out what is OVC 0600, whatever might be in the METAR or TAF line. What does it mean? So you would already have studied it and known, all the different abbreviations and things of that nature, so that when the question asks, you can go back and just review the METAR or TAF report, and then just pull out the data you need, so you're not actually trying to decode it the day of. So that's kind of my tip. I hadn't seen anybody mention that before. It was that you can go and read the supplement and see all the data that will be used in the questions that you'll have the day of your exam. So they provide all the questions, and they provide all the data they're going to be asking against. So if you can, for those things that are easily done, memorize them, know what they are forwards and backwards, so that when you go in and do the exam, you're not also trying to decode what the different subsections of a METAR report are. So that's it. I'll have links to the 4 YouTube channels down below, and I'll also link my Google Doc cheat sheet that I did. I put in all the data, and one page was just on weather reports, the other was 2 pages on charts, 1 on definitions and facts, and then the last page is just on acronyms that you might run across in the exam, just so that you know what all these things might mean. I think that's it. Just wanted to share my test taking experience. It was pretty quick. I found the exam to be not that difficult. It took me about 25 minutes to go through all 60 questions. You have 2 hours to do it. So I went through all the questions. You can check and flag them. So I went through and then reviewed all my checked and flagged questions to make sure that I didn't want to change those answers in any way. And then I went back through. It took a few minutes. And then I just read through all the questions and my answers and just reviewed and made sure that I thought I had the best answers selected. And so I did pretty well. I missed 2 questions, and one was on recalling regulations on controlled airspace, and the other was recalling the forces acting on a plane during turns. So missed 2. I think you're allowed to miss 18 questions and still pass, something like that. You need to get a 70%, and you can get your drone pilot license. So I found it not to be too challenging. There's definitely a lot of information that is pilot specific that you will want to familiarize yourself with. The cheat sheet has all the data that you would be asked. So reference that, reference these amazing YouTube resources. They were, for me, critical in being able to pass this exam first time. So thanks. If you like this, give it a thumbs up, subscribe. I'll have some links, information down below, and check it out. Thank you very much. Bye.